longest journeys begin on the smallest paths. For Hulda Momanyi, that path started in the hills of Nyamemiso village in Nyamira County and led to the chamber of the Minnesota House of Representatives, where she made history as the first Kenyan-born woman elected to the legislature. In an exclusive conversation with TV47's Faith Wangari, she looks back on the road that shaped her. Faith Wangari began by asking her where that story began. Take a look.
Running for political office wasn't easy at all. The first time I ran, it was hard for me to even get a team, right? Because people were looking at me going, oh, you're not the usual politician, white, male, you name it, right? I was this very unique individual who was coming from a completely different background with an accent. But at the end of the day, I understood the assignment, right? I understood that when you are not on the table, you are somewhere else, and you're not a part of making the decisions that actually influence the policies that are being passed into law that impact the day-to-day lives of the common Mwananchi.
A small village is sitting at the table. I'm sitting at the table.
I am Honorable Hulda Momanyi-Hiltzley, all the way from the great state of Minnesota, USA. I hail from a small village called Nyamemiso in Nyamira County, and my family migrated to the U.S. when I was just 9 years old. And so I've lived in the U.S. Almost 30 plus years now. I schooled there. I did a little bit of schooling here in Kenya, but then once I migrated there, that's where all of my schooling was done. My background is in data privacy, data protection, but then my passion, you have a career background and then you have your passion. And my passion is service to my community, and that path has led me down to politics. I ran for Senate in 2022. Didn't make it, and a lot of people didn't know that, but then I ran for the Minnesota House of Representatives. That was 2024, and here we are. Can you imagine 164 years and we've never had a black woman into our Senate?
You cannot miss Nyamira avocados. You see, Auntie?
I think when you come from a very humble background like I do, we didn't come from wealth or money or resources. And then the deep-rooted culture that is, the Kisii tribe and just Kenya in general. I think, and then also having parents who instilled in us this idea of service, this idea of giving back to where we come from, because we understood the magnitude and the privilege we had living in the U.S. That has shaped how I go about, leadership, how I go about serving my community, how I go about just living my day-to-day normal life of being a mother, a wife, a politician, a businesswoman. And it's rooted in service to other people, making sure that everything I do is rooted in making sure that, somebody's life is changed for the better. The values are, integrity, transparency, just caring for another human being. And those values, I think, are also rooted in my Christian faith. Love for your neighbor, the golden rule. Treat your neighbor as you would treat yourself. And again, going back to that space of being privileged. And my parents were very intentional about bringing us back here to Kenya, going to visit Shosho in Ushago, seeing how people are living and the day-to-day struggle of the common Mwananchi was definitely a pillar in my upbringing, realizing that I had more than I needed. Running for political office wasn't easy at all. The first time I ran, it was hard for me to even get a team, right? Because people were looking at me going, oh, you're not the usual politician, white, male, you name it, right? I was this very unique individual who was coming from a completely different background with an accent. But at the end of the day, I understood the assignment, right? I understood that when you are not on the table, you are somewhere else, and you're not a part of making the decisions that actually influence the policies that are being passed into law that is. And we thought the momentum was on our side, and then in the end, you know, when we were having our watch night, when the polls and the votes were coming in, you know, finding and figuring out that you have lost after you have invested. My friend, hey, has somebody ever hit you on the chest and taken breath out of, you know, your lungs? That's how it felt, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was depressed for a few months, but then my team and my support system, hey, took me out of that. I even brought my whole entire campaign team to Kenya, because they were like, all right, we lost. What do we do now to get out of this depression? And they were like, we wanna go see where our leader come from, you know. The biggest lesson I learned was data, understanding who the voters were, because we were really focused on our community, you know, empowering our community to go out and vote. But then the data showed that our community, we still have a long way to go. And in the US, everything is tracked, right? Like the systems are there to, you know, I know exactly my next door neighbor, whether they are Republican, Democrat, how long they voted, and how they are voted, right? Oh, exactly. Where they live, how many people are in their house, how those people have voted, all of that is tracked. So we use that to look at, okay, the last 5 elections, who has consistent, me as a freshman legislator. To the young people out there, you people have the power to create the country that you want to see. You are the next generation of leaders, right? So what you do in this very moment will determine the trajectory that I belong in those spaces. I still have to establish my ability. And as a woman, as somebody who has done this for a very long time, it gets exhausting. I want to encourage our women. When you step up in leadership, you can still lead with integrity and keep your values intact. And if that space does not is not conducive to that, remove yourself. And I'm so proud to be Kenyan American. So proud to say I am a Kenyan, I am a Kisii, but most importantly, me, I'm Kenya. We are all one. And the beauty about Kenya, all of these different tribes and languages we have, somehow, my friend, somehow we are thriving and surviving in one way or another together as a country. And so as Kenya enters